The Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaghy is an epic, epic, beautiful book. This is the third book of Charlotte's I've read, and the first being Migrations, which I still maintain is one of the most beautifully written books I have ever read, and this is not far from it. Charlotte's an incredible storyteller. She takes you into this world with this sad and sort of blissfully sorrowful lives of these people that really encapsulates loneliness and the struggle for human connection. And then she blends it with a little bit of hope and a little bit of of promise, I suppose, would be the way. This one, The Wild Dark Shore, was incredible. And try not to give spoilers, but I think there's potential tearjerker here in this book. There's beautifully, beautifully written book. I'm going to read, because I don't learn my lessons from other readings I've done. I'm going to read the opening for it because it was so beautiful. It was so magnificently, her prose, Charlotte's prose. I have hated my mother for most of my life, but it is her face I see when I drown. That's the opening line. Like, how fantastic is that? And then it drops down a paragraph. The face I see when I wake from drowning is different. It is rough and wind-bitten and scratchy. It is what I'm looking at when the sudden arrival of pain overcomes me, and I know the image of him will forever be as one with this pain. Whenever I see his face, I will remember the burning, stinging of being dragged upon rocks and flayed open, left raw. I will feel the bursting pressure in my chest. The sensation will be so vivid it will be like it has happened all over again. His face, a return, a drowning. What a way to open a novel, to open a story. Like, you could pick any passage out of this book to read and just be touched by the movement, by the moving way in which she describes the setting and the scenario and the raw human emotion of tragedy and loss and hardship. This is such a brilliant, fantastic book. It centers on a family on a fictionalized version of the Macquarie Island, which is off the sort of between Tasmania and the Arctic. And the Charlotte delves in the world of sort of climate change and things going awry, which many believe that is happening. There's detractors there. I'm not weighing in on that debate at all. I think there's a lot to be done, but I'm not weighing in on that. And so the island's basically disappearing, and that's a is a reality. I know the Pacific Islands, there's a bit of nervousness about water levels rising there, and Macquarie Island. So she's fictionalized it, and did actually research there and spent a bit of time on the island on the research base on Macquarie Islands. But she's fictionalized it to make it her own, and centers around this family that sort of mans the lighthouse and this seed vault that's on the island that has all like seeds from all the plants of the world. So if something unforeseeable happens, we'll be able to start again as humans. And I think I do believe she wrote there is an actual seed vault. It's not down on that island, but there is an actual seed vault like that. And so this family's on this island, and this lady washes up. On how she got out there is a mystery, what she's doing there is a mystery, and there's just secrets upon secrets from both the family and both this lady Rowan that's washed up on shore. And it's Dom and his 3 children. He lives with the ghost of his dead wife, not ex-wife. and goes through a big part of it. If you know Macquarie Island's history, it was where they used to do seal hunting and all sorts of horrendous things to like boiling animals in penguins and that, and in bats to get the oil from, and things like that. Is, you know, the horrendous things we used to do and still do as humans to the natural world around us. But the trouble with the island is that it's starting to disappear. The island's going under, and so the seed vault's going to be lost. So they have to get what they can save out of it. But they won't see another Navy boat for another 6 weeks, and all the communication's been damaged by someone, which is another mystery on this incredible story. And then it's the interplay of the secrets. The secrets are incredible. Of this, you know, to have this random strange lady washed up, battered and thing, but then Dom has his secrets. His 2 older children have their secrets, and then the young little Orly, who's, you know, I think it's 17, 16, the older children, and then Orly's about 10 or 12. I don't know. I just finished reading it. I should know the age of the kids. And yeah, he's a fascinating little kid that loves nature and loves plants and seeds. So the seed vault is something that very much appeals to her. And they basically lived on the island for 8 years, and now their home is disappearing. All the researchers are long gone, and it's just them waiting basically for the sea to take them over or to be picked up beforehand. And Rowan's thrown a massive spanner in this works. I cannot, like, I've said this a lot about a lot of books, and I love books, so it's pretty easy for me to highly recommend book after book after book, because I love them. I love books, but I think this potentially will be the best book I've read this year, and I've already read some great books. You know, I'm a fantasy reader. I love fantasy, and I just finished off the Malazan World. Epic books. You know, if you're into fantasy, they were absolutely brilliant. But this book, The Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaghy, will potentially be the best book I read this year, although I've just started my next one, which more to come on that, which might actually rival it, which means I'm in for a very big treat, because to think that I could surpass the quality of this novel, not only this year, but in my next read would be amazing. But that's back to Wild Dark Shore. It is fantastic. Charlotte is, the way she immerses you on this island, amongst this family, amongst these secrets, is so breathtakingly beautiful. The way she describes everything, her prose and that are the first rate. As a writer, I would kill to be able to write this well, this depth of emotion and this descriptive. It's something I'm very envious in a positive envy. I'm not bitter, as she's got a vocabulary and a word that I would love to be able to dive into. But you know, I'll just keep working on mine quietly, and this brilliant book. I cannot recommend it highly enough. Like, I cannot highly recommend it enough. That, you know, check out her other 2 books, or her other 2 main books that I've read. Migrations or Last Migrations, depending on which version you got. I think mine was The Last Migration, but I think it was reissued as Migration. Is definitely one of the most beautifully written books I've ever read. Probably it certainly was at the time I read it. And I can't think of the other one about the wolves. Once Were Wolves, I think might be her other novel that I've read. Another fantastic, beautifully written book. And she does this narrative around global change and environment, and that it's really brilliant. I can't wait for her next book. I don't know, no clues on when that will be, but I'm certainly will dive into that as soon as it comes out. Wild Dark Shore, brilliant book by an incredibly talented writer. Happy reading, subscribe and follow for more.